Ma'am, shall we start?
Yes, Sangeeta, we can.
Okay. A warm good morning to all. The COVID-19 pandemic is having a devastating impact across the world. So many lost their life and so many struggle for life. So let's take a silent prayer to those who sacrificed their life who serve our world in this pandemic. Thank you. I'm Sangeeta MR, Medical and Psychiatric Trainee, Department of Social Work, Bharathidasan University, Trichy. Welcome every morning with a smile. Look on the new day as another special gift. Another golden opportunity to complete what you were unable to finish yesterday. Be a self starter. It's my pleasure to extend a cheerful welcome to you all. First and foremost, I'm glad to welcome Dr. Jayo Jirida Nyanachani Elcho, Associate Professor and Director of this program, to render welcome note. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Sangeeta. Happy morning to all. Maybe first in this welcome address, I should thank Lord Almighty for giving us a day because many have lost their lives and many are still struggling. And every day, the papers and the TV channels are broadcasting things that is not healthy for us to hear. So, coming to this workshop, this 2 days online workshop on COVID-19 and impact of children has will take a lot of messages to the children, we hope. So, keeping this in mind, we have designed this workshop. And at the outset, I would welcome all the resource persons of this a 2 day online workshop. So the morning session, Mrs. Nirmala Warrior, an English teacher in Kaveri Global School, will be talking to us. And in the afternoon session, we welcome you, ma'am. And in the afternoon session, Dr. B.P. Nirmala, the professor from the Department of Psychiatric Social Work, will be with us, and we welcome her also. And we welcome Dr. R. Anita, the District Child Protection Officer of Trichy. We welcome her also. And Mrs. Subita Main, a lecturer and head department of social work, Mercy College, Palakkad. We also welcome her. And we also welcome Dr. N. Janathan, Professor, Department of Psychiatric Social Work, NIMANS. We also welcome him. So at this juncture, I should also welcome, it's our protocol to welcome our Professor and Head, Dr. R. Mangleshwaran, the man behind the scene who motivated us to carry out the workshops. And I welcome you, sir. And I also welcome my colleagues, Dr. Nirmala, Dr. Rajvel, and Dr. Velango for this workshop. And I welcome the teaching assistants of this of our department, Dr. Selvamani, Dr. Karthik, and Dr. Suresh Kumar. And you know, this workshop has reached a wide, and we had altogether 825 registrations, and have reached, and the registrations have come from 4 countries: India, Nepal, Philippines, and Zimbabwe. And you know, this is the 98th online workshop of our department, and this we have started from last year, and our professor and head will add more to this. And I also welcome the participants. You know, our 100 participants have been connected with us, and you know, the capacity of this Google Meet is that, and the remaining rest of them are connected with us in the YouTube. And I also welcome all the students, the program coordinators, our first year technical assistants, and our teaching assistants, and all us. So let's go to the program.
Thank you,
Over
ma'am.
to Sangeeta.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. And, a teacher is a person who creates human being and instills care, values, respect, and love in them. They put in the minds of all their children the right meaning and significance of life. As Michael Morgo rightly quoted, it is the teacher that makes the difference, not the classroom. So on this auspicious occasion, I would like to welcome Dr. R. Mangaleshwaran, Professor and Head, Department of Social Work, Bharathidasan University, Trichy, to deliver presidential address. Welcome, sir.
Yeah. So good morning to all. Uh, the respected resource person of the day, Miss Nirmala from Kaveri Global Senior Secondary School, Trichurapalli, the director of this workshop on the COVID-19 and its impact on children, my colleague, Dr. Jerida, and my dear students who have been organizing this workshop, the coordinators of this program, Miss Sangeeta, Miss Soundarya, Miss Abhirami, Miss Ilakya, and my colleagues in the department, Dr. Nirmala Rajavel, Dr. Ilongo sir, and the guest faculties, and my dear
Excuse me, sir.
students. Yes.
சார் உங்க வீடியோ ஆல்டர் ஆகுது சார். கேன் யூ சேஞ்ச் தட்?
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Let me. Just a minute.
ஓகே சார், இட்ஸ் ஓகே.
Just wait for a couple of minutes. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Sorry for that. Thank you. So I didn't see my picture. I was seeing all of you, right, except me. So anyway, thanks, Sangeeta, for that help. Yeah, okay, fine. So on the outset, I should congratulate all the student friends, particularly the student from medical and psychiatry, who has taken a much efforts in doing this program, and that too during this pandemic situation and lockdown period. So that's a really amazing work that is being done by the students of social work, and almost all the students have been doing a tremendous work. I mean, both first years and second years, as rightly pointed out by Dr. Jerida, my colleague. So this is the 98th program, right? So since last lockdown, right, we had a lockdown in 2020, that's during the month of March, and now we are in the, I mean, almost an year. So on this occasion, no, we had by making use of this virtual platform, we are able to do with the support of the colleagues and my regular faculties, and as well as the guest faculties and the students, research scholars. We are able to do a good service to all the students, academicians, and practitioners, not only catering the needs of the people in Tamil Nadu, but across the India and globe as well. Because even as Dr. Jirida was mentioning, that this program we have around participants from 4 countries. So that is a really welcoming note, because in almost all the programs, I would see that there is a representation from different countries, right? So it is also, and one good news that we have around 825 participants who have taken part in. That's due to the limitations of this Google Meet, and we can able to accommodate only 100%. So therefore, the other participants are just going watching this program lively through YouTube also, right? So on behalf of the department, I also extend a warm welcome to all of you. Coming to the program, so this is a very important and push, I mean, super specialty, I would say that this is a super specialty program, right? So when you say that it is focusing especially on the children, because that is a specialty, and they have covered almost all the aspect, right? So especially on the disabled children and abandoned children, migrant children, on the psychiatric impact of the children. So almost all the aspects of the children has been covered, right? So when you just look into and do the statistics of what is being told by the whole globe and the other thing, especially in India, we say that half of the children are under 5 in India are malnutrition in the present situation, right? So COVID situation, because you know that the crisis would further version on the impact of the child nutrition with respect to the COVID-19. And you can see that in the first wave we have around 4% infection across the country, right. And the second wave, it is around 10 to 15% of the children who have been affected due to this COVID-19 in the second. And it is also a sad to news that there will be a third wave, right? So because almost there is a prediction that because that almost 60% of the children might be vulnerable, might be affected through this COVID-19. And astonishing news, which is released by the Ministry of Family and Health Welfare yesterday. And till from April 1st to till date, that is yesterday, we the 577 children lost their parents due to COVID. So this is about just 1.5 months, right? So this is the current situation that is prevailing due to the COVID situation. So more orphans come out. And another challenge is that the safe schooling. So that's what Nirmala will be addressing us. Right? Safe schooling. So how? Because for the past 1 year, no, the school children are really put under threat, right? So they are not able to go to the school. The education, they are not able to get a proper education. Maybe schools might be doing a justice, but when it comes to the government schools, no, I would see that I've just made a visit to several villages, because almost all the playing cricket or something, they're doing lots of activities. So what would be the education system that's going across the world and across the nation, across the India and across the Tamil Nadu also, right? So where we are going to look into how we are going to rectify this education system, the multitudes of physical, mental, social, economic risk associated with the children, right? So it has given to discuss, we need to discuss, we need to demonstrate and reiterate the importance of COVID-19 appropriate behavior. They call it a CAB, right? So it is called COVID-19 appropriate behavior. And therefore, what I would suggest that this particular program will definitely help us to learn some new avenues, how we can change the lifestyle or life of the children, and especially during this COVID-19 situation, right? So my thing is that even we see now this many children are accustomed to the cartoon networks, right? So through these cartoon networks also, the awareness related to the COVID, because so that we can have a safe children in the upcoming days, right? So through these cartoon network programs, right, so we can able to create an awareness among the children and prevent them from this COVID-19 situation. So with this few observations, right, so let me congratulate once again the student friends for taking up a very good topic. And also I hope that the participant will have a very enriching knowledge, and it is, as told you, it is super specialized way in which you are going to learn how the impact of COVID-19 with related to different aspects of children, like abandoned children, migrant children, orphan children. So like that, we are going to learn much of the things. So I wish you all the best for a very happy learning environment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your inspiring words. So each moment is precious. So let's start the session without any delay. Today we have Mrs. Nirmala Sasi Varier, and she is working as an English teacher in Kaveri College. She is an active Toastmaster since 2014, and she was a resource person at Prism Soft Tech Private Limited, Bangalore. And she worked for the Hindu News and Education program till March 2012. As she conducted many seminars and workshops at Trichy, she authored a book of short stories and poem in 2019. Due to some health problems, our first chief guest, Mrs. Saraswati, can't take the session. And at the short notice, Nirmala ma'am accepted our invitation. So I took this chance to say thank you, ma'am, and a warm, heartfelt welcome to you. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Sangeeta. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. Greetings to all the members of the Department of Social Work of Bharatidasan University, Dr. R. Mangaleshwaran, HOD, Department of Social Work, Dr. P. Ilango, Senior Faculty Member, Workshop Director, Dr. Jarida, the workshop coordinators, the esteemed array of professionals, educators, scholars, academicians, students. Let me first say how delighted I am to be here amid such an elite audience. I was just thinking, actually wondering how some new words have entered our daily vocabulary, just like that. In the span of this last 1 year, words that had not crossed our minds are now being bandied about left, right, and center. Even young children are familiar with these words. Corona, COVID, pandemic, mask, sanitizers, oximeter, oxygen concentrator, ventilator. Yes, we were aware of these words as a distant reality, but now they have become part of our daily conversations. One of my students, she was telling me how she has come to hate the word quarantine. She hates the word positive, how news of obituaries are so scary, and she wished that there were more news about recovery. Why? This workshop that we are participating in is also about this topic and its ramifications across every section of children. Why? COVID, of course, has turned our world upside down. We adults are impacted, but our children, they perhaps are impacted in ways beyond our imagination. And that is exactly why we need to bring it onto the table. The children, right from little ones to our students here, how much it has changed your existence, how much it has changed your routine, your lifestyle, and thereby how is it going to impact your tomorrows, your future. It is so uncertain. We adults, we have seen, lived, experienced another life, the BC, before Corona. But our children who have been born into the Corona age, how are their lives going to be in the AC after Corona? Hoping that there is going to be such an era in the near future. When I see the little ones picking up their tiny masks and wearing them casually, applying sanitizers onto their hands, when I see my 1-year-old granddaughter who was born during the lockdown, we celebrated her first birthday just last week. Celebrated just in our home, just with few of us. I wonder what her world is going to be like. We have already ordered tiny masks for her to wear when she has to be taken for her booster dose of immunization next month. I worry if she is going to agree to wear it or is she going to tug it off. We had different lessons to learn about child development, the ideal scenario for healthy physical, mental, emotional development. And now all these need to be rewritten. The landscape has been tainted forever. We have almost forgotten how it used to be pre-COVID. Will our children ever understand that life? We used to just, we wanted to go out of the house. We used to just get up and go out. Can we do that anymore? There are so many things to think about, plan, take with us. It becomes so different. What about outdoors, sports, extracurricular activities, team activities that was so essential for healthy social skill development? Will we adults as teachers and parents have the confidence to send our children outdoors when we are not even able to shake hands? What can be said of all contact sports and other such activities? We teachers, educators, facilitators who thrived on face-to-face interaction, of being able to see our pupils, reach out to them, encourage them, appreciate them, applaud them, rejoice with them. And now it has been reduced to drab interactions across the screens of devices, faceless, voiceless. We address icons on our screen, hoping fervently that our children are on the other side. Many of us had to unlearn so much, learn even more to be able to cope with what COVID has gifted us. As teachers, we have always had to update ourselves. But this is a whole new story. Am I audible? Am I visible? Has become our new answer. Designing and devising novel methods of sustaining the attention of our children, keeping them interested, keeping them engaged, of communicating to them the content, the context, the tangible, the intangible, the abstract is now a whole new ball game altogether. I teach English to higher secondary students and I keep my video on. But my students, they have to switch off their videos to avoid network failure. So here I'm doing all kinds of acrobatics as I share stories, encourage discussions and debates. But what about those teachers who have to teach concepts in physics, math, chemistry? Conducting tests, assessments, evaluations have become a farce. What is the point even? And regarding being glued to devices, let us not even go there. Health issues at every level, physical, emotional, psychological, anxiety, stress, frustration has become the new normal. Exams are being cancelled, postponed, uncertainty has assumed unheard proportions. When family members fall sick and loved ones are lost, I've had a few students call me and tell me, ma'am, I'm so sorry, I shall not be able to submit my assignment on time. My father passed away the other day. And I just want to tell them, please forget about assessments, please forget about exams, marks, just please take care of yourself, please take care of your family. And it is in such, I want to, there is no sane outlet for grief or even sharing. And it is in such circumstances that one realizes schools were not just an institution. It provided so much more. The peer interaction, the mentor-mentee relationship, the physical activities, the extracurricular experiences, and now all that is no longer available. I have with me here two of my pupils. They are on the threshold of college life. But right now, they don't know how and when it is going to manifest. They are waiting to know the decision regarding the board exam. They have no inkling regarding the decision the direction it is going to swing. But one thing that I know about this batch is that they have learned to navigate the virtual terrain with elan. They have reinvented themselves, delved into passions and hobbies. They have learned to combat uncertainty with ingenuity. They have been watching, learning, adapting, evolving, and emerging into a new realm of experience. I invite them to share how COVID has impacted their lives. I have Sodisi and Samiksha from Kaveri Global Senior Secondary School. Sodisi, I invite you to share your thoughts.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Good morning to all the beautiful ladies and gentlemen viewing this. So, today, as our topic is COVID-19 impact on school children, I would like to start from the very beginning. So, trust me, at the beginning, it was bliss, so good, no classes, no assignments. And we all thought it was a 2 weeks process and it would get over soon. But then it was extended for months, and that's where online classes came in. It was both new for teachers as well as students. But then few students really liked it because they could just attend classes lying down on their bed and munching their favorite snack. Others felt it really difficult to cope up with the syllabus, and few had internet issues and technological facilities issues. And usually schools tell us not to dwell on the internet much and not use gadgets more. Like, but then now no internet, no classes, so that's that. And coming to Instagram. So Instagram, like you just click on that icon and it's like the new newspaper for all children. You get updated about all world affairs and everything. And it's really tempting for students to just click on that Facebook icon or the WhatsApp icon and instead of attending any online classes. And again, like few children might be facing unhealthy family environment, and especially during this lockdown, the domestic abuse cases has gone up drastically. And I feel that school would have been a safe place for all these children. And much love and power to all of them who are facing their trouble on their own. And coming to the brighter side, many students have started their own little bakery with homemade cakes and cookies, and they take orders online. And other very talented students have also started selling their art and handmade clothes and keychains. And I feel like business at this young age is like really appreciative. And we all know that the second wave is much more damaging than the first wave, and many children could have lost their parents and close relatives. So again, so much we send so much love and strength to all of them coping up in their own ways. And this isolation has created a huge impact on all of us, not only children but all age groups. And me being a 12th grade student, I would like to talk about the delay in class 12 board examinations. It's really frustrating, and it has like caused so much anxiety within us. And like toppings and ice cream, we are called as the Corona batch. I wish we were called as the fighter batch or the survivor batch, because it sounds much more appealing. And I would like to end this with a quote. Mental health is just as important as physical health. You would not dismiss broken bones, so why dismiss broken minds? Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sodasi. And now I invite Samiksha to share her thoughts.
Oh, hello. Good morning. Hope everyone here is well and safe. I'm Samiksha Srikanthan, and I'm from Kaveri Global Senior Secondary School. I'm in my 12th standard currently. Online schooling has been very impactful in structuring some crucial aspects in my life, and the impact has been both positive and negative. I'm going to start with some of the ways in which online learning has enriched my learning process. Undeniably, the ease of learning through the online platform, like there is no geographical constraint and there are never ending opportunities of learning. For example, I can be here in the same room and attend classes that's happening in a completely different part of the world. And I feel online learning or the virtual mode of school has enabled us to rethink traditional modes of education and adopt newer and more efficient modes of learning. By efficient, I mean how technology can be used as a tool to enrich the teaching learning process. For example, teachers can make sessions more interactive by teaching through presentations and giving us quizzes and reflective assignments based on research. I feel I'm actually very grateful for the online platform of learning, because think of a situation where the functioning of schools has come to a standstill. That would be a nightmare. So I feel online learning has fueled or moved or kept the wheel of education running. Another important factor is the adaptability to change that has been instilled in us through this situation. This adaptability hones us to overcome different situations without feeling stuck or helpless. Like every spectrum has two sides. While looking at the other side, the fact that it's May 2021 and I'm still in 12th standard can be cited as a good example of the effect or negative effect COVID-19 and online learning has had on my education. Internet connectivity issues. For example, there are many remote parts of our country, and not all internet service providers are stay true to their word. So this these issues become hurdles or obstacles in the education process of children, especially in many remote parts of India, like the northeastern states of our country. As much as the pandemic situation helps us in adapting to various scenarios in life, the same can be a negative facet. Not everybody can adapt with ease. For example, I have been learning through the online. I have had online tuitions right from 9th grade, but a lot of my classmates or my peers felt online learning is very difficult in terms of subjects that deal with quantitative ability, especially mathematics and accountancy. It is not only the students who face difficulty. Undeniably, the teachers are also uncertain about how much of the whole content that they've taught have been imparted to the children. More often than not, we can relate to teachers calling out names only to get no response, leaving them in a helpless situation. There is also a lack of accountability. And now we have, like Sodasi told us, we have a host of distractions. There's our phone, there is family, and the attention span of students has definitely reduced. And there is lack of accountability in terms that there are many instances of students engaging in active malpractice during examinations. And finally, I'd like to conclude by saying that the pandemic has deprived us of the opportunity to enjoy a fun filled year and a camaraderie with our friends, family, teachers, and juniors. One of the major drawbacks of learning online is that we cannot look back to our last year of school as something that is nostalgic and filled with memories and souvenirs. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Samiksha. So, all of you, you heard right from the horse's mouth, as we call it, our children, what all they are facing, both positive and negative impacts. And so, our children are trudging forward gingerly. They are testing the waters before diving. There is no time frame to adapt and act. It depends on so much more than just resilience. You get to hear so much about resilience, but it is not mere resilience. It's about being able to accept, acknowledge the fear, the insecurity, and honoring the difficult emotions without turning towards denial while understanding that the new normal is a luxury that is not accessible to everyone. We are learning to cope. We are trying to help others to cope. We are counting on such workshops using the various online platforms to do this. Attending meetings, conventions, webinars, participating in workshops, even competitions, and training sessions around the globe have become routine. Why? Here on this workshop, we are having speakers from all over the country. We are having participants from other countries. I'm sure many of us have had the good fortune to listen to speakers and academicians of international repute. Everywhere it is about reaching out virtually. And ironically, the pandemic, while being about social distancing, has expanded the horizon unimaginably. It is raining motivational snippets. It is all about survival during these times, more than ever. And is it just about mere survival? No, of course not. It is about surviving in style. It is about surviving successfully, nothing less. To borrow the latest lingo, surviving with a swag. Empathy, sympathy, sensitivity, compassion, sensitization need to be the go words in the coming years. Something that we look forward to in the post-COVID era. The path to recovery should encompass the environment and also ensure that no one is left behind. So here we go. We pave new pathways to create a better normal. We redefine normal. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your words. Ma'am?
Yes?
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Now, I would like to thank Ms. Sadashi and Samiksha for giving such a nice uh, word of experience sharing. Thank you so much. Next, I would like to welcome. Now we have move upon to our questions session. So please put your queries and doubts on the chat box. Okay, ma'am. We have one question. How to help the children mental health in online class?
Yes. So actually, it is always important that the educator or the facilitator is able to reach out personally to each student. And probably it would have been much more difficult when we were in the school scenario. But being online now, you're always accessible to the children through your WhatsApp and other devices. So I think the teacher needs to always make sure or ensure or assure the children that she is available for not just academic help, counseling or anything. There has to be a personal interaction if the student, if the child is comfortable in sharing other difficult situations, and the teacher must be in a position where she can provide personal help or at least redirect the child to a person who would be able to help them in whichever way possible.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, if a child have a problem having coping with this situation, like COVID-19, we know that a teacher-student interaction was most important in the past years, but we have lacking this now. So how to make that rebond? How will we make that bond, ma'am? The teacher-student bond. How will we make in the online platform?
That has to be, the hand or the helping hand should be extended by the teacher. And the teacher can make it a point to interact. She should be very observant, very vigilant regarding the children's responses. If she notices continuing lingering absences from children, she can make it a point to reach out to them to message or even make a call to try to find out if everything is fine at home. And I think something very important is uh, there has been this stigma related to mental issues, emotional health issues, psychological health issues. So I think the teacher plays a very important role in making the child understand that just as how physical health is important, it is equally, if not more important, to focus on your mental and emotional health also. So the teacher has to make the child comfortable in coming out, in confiding with her emotional problems, her or his emotional problems, psychological problems. We need to remove the stigma attached to this mental health issue. That is of foremost important. When we understand that mental health issues can be difficult, it is nothing that we need not talk about. It can be spoken about, it needs to be spoken about, it needs to be addressed. This, I think, all of us need to understand that and create that awareness among everybody, not only the children, among adults also. Because probably the children, they feel hesitant to come out with, probably they're not able to understand what they're undergoing. So that we as teachers and parents need to do something.
Thank you, ma'am. We have a question from YouTube from Shailesh. How to deal with the lots of online session, but nothing impact on child's learning? Actually, it's an important question, ma'am.
Could you please repeat the question?
Okay, ma'am. How to deal with the lots of online sessions, but nothing impact on child's learning?
I think I'm not very clear with, could you make it a little more clear what is being asked?
We have lots of session we can get from online, YouTube and all that, but there is no impact on children from that lesson.
Oh, okay. So what is available online is not always useful. Is that what is being asked?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. So actually, there are many more. With each day, we are having more accessibilities, and like this workshop is being conducted, I myself have participated in various sessions where they are devising and innovating and creating more, methods and techniques of imparting valuable classes. And I think it is the right time is now where we can shift from mere academic lessons only, uh, or focus on marks and assessments and evaluations, where we need to focus on other kinds of learning which helps the person wholesome in a wholesome manner. to cope with life challenges, teaching life skills, and all this has to come through practical application. And though the online medium is slightly restrictive in this aspect, I think with such panels and seminars, these lessons can be imparted in a better way. And gradually, I think we are reaching there. I hope I have made myself clear.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And we have another question from Seema from YouTube. Suggest some guidelines for children to cope up with this pandemic, ma'am. Some guidelines for coping this pandemic.
So first of all, like Sodasi was saying, initially it was like, just this and what you call, we just think it's a prolonged vacation. And it is with time that we understand that everything is not hunky-dory. So we need to cultivate more hobbies and we need to reinvent ourselves every day. We need to actively focus on becoming more wholesome emotionally. Because only when you are available in uh, fully emotionally, can you actually do something productive? Can you achieve something constructive? So we need to focus on how to keep ourselves uh, positive, how to, and for this we have to, it's not easy always because there are these days when we feel very much depressed, frustrated, uncertain, insecurities. And for all this, we need to proactively do something about it. So that we, even on those days when we are not feeling up to doing something constructive, we are not feeling up to doing something concrete, as in assignments and online sessions and all that, we need to set aside a time where we can tell ourselves or we can motivate ourselves that yes, we can manage through this situation. And most of all, it is important to give back. So whatever each one of us learns, if we are going to try to help somebody else, that sense of fulfillment is going to make us feel more motivated and more inspired to continue this journey.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. We have another question from YouTube. It's Esther from Esther. Can you suggest some tips to make our students attentive during online classes?
First of all, I think online sessions should not be very lengthy. Even when it is in a classroom session, there is a limited attention span, not for the students, for adults also. And especially when we are exposed to so many devices and so much of distraction, I think the duration of the online sessions should be decreased. And during the duration, like Samiksha was saying, the teachers have to innovate, create presentations, have interactive sessions so that the children are kept motivated, they're kept interested, they don't lose interest. And for that, we have to interact with them continuously, make them feel like coming back and continue that session so that only then can we actually have some effective communication happening during the online session.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. We have a question from Kubendran. What is the role of a mother to manage the behavior of a child with the depression due to long confinement in the house during lockdown?
See, mothers are not always equipped, to be aware of psychological changes in their children. Of course, today we are more aware, especially that is one, I think, positive side of the pandemic. We have become so much more aware of all these aspects of the psychological aspects of children. And I think today's mothers are perhaps much more aware of such things more than I used to be when I was a mother, as a young mother. And so the mother is not a professional who is going to understand what exactly is happening to her child. And the child is also not equipped to be able to communicate regarding what is happening. So I think we need to have certain, um I'm just speaking off the cuff here. I think there needs to be sessions where we invite mothers who are perhaps not aware of these aspects of their children, and only then will they know how to tackle children who may be depressed, how to understand whether they are depressed, and if they are depressed, how do we approach them, what do we talk to them, how do we help them to share. Most important, I think, if there is full communication, 100% communication, where the child does not have any fear to share with her or his parents, guardians, teachers. I think that would be the best way. The child should not have any kind of hesitation or fear to share what is happening inside his or her mind.
Okay, ma'am. And we have a question from Albert from Philippines. In terms of using different modalities in teaching children, how do you assess the effectivity of these modalities in terms of providing knowledge and learning?
Now, this is a very personal thing. I have always perceived education to be more of experience, exposure, and wisdom than actually textual knowledge. And I think most teachers, if we look at education as not mere content communication, uh, transference of academic knowledge, and when it is more about interaction, when it is more about sharing, when it is more about communication, uh, and giving them opportunities to share experiences and exposing them to other enlightening experiences, I think that is true wisdom and that is true knowledge. It is not about just learning what is available in your curriculum, your syllabus, your textbook, and then learning it and then securing marks during the examination. Every teacher needs to be aware that while she is transferring textbook knowledge, simultaneously she has to communicate at a wholesome level, which is about emotional communication, psychological communication, making the students, making herself approachable, accessible to the students in every which way.
Thank you, ma'am. And we have another question. Teachers are more pressured to make the class more attractive, to make the students more attentive, and most of the time it fails. Is that the reason why teachers feel and prefer offline classes more than online classes?
The thing is, when we are in a school scenario, we can see the children. All teachers are aware that if we have a class of 50, 40 students, we are constantly aware each child is different. And it becomes easier when you can address these differences, the reasons why each child is unique when you are in a school classroom scenario. Whereas when you are talking to a monitor screen, when you are talking through devices, this accessibility is definitely reduced. And like my children, Sodasi and Samiksha were saying, there is always this chance that the child is probably logged into the session, the meeting, the class, but the child might be involved in doing something else. So it becomes difficult for the teacher to address each child according to their individual differences, individual needs. So while they can try on a generalized or standardized way to make classes more interactive, more attractive, this is definitely difficult in an online session. For example, suppose a teacher is now, in a new academic year, she gets introduced to a batch of children whom she has not taught in the past. And she wouldn't have even got an opportunity to see them, let alone know them. So it would be very difficult for her or him to know what each child's strong points are, what their personal set of skills are. So definitely that is a restrictive medium for the teacher, and the teacher has to devise methods apart from the curriculum or syllabus to get to know each child through other methods and then address them individually.
Please
Sangeeta,
tell about the
yeah,
ma'am.
no, you were muted initially. Now I can hear you.
Okay, ma'am. Please tell about the learning difficulties of differently abled children during COVID-19.
I'm afraid I'm not equipped to answer this question because I am not qualified to answer that question.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. We have another question. COVID-19 effect on school children from government school starting from higher to primary.
Could you
The
please?
difficulties of government school.
Government schools, I cannot speak from experience, But I'm assuming that there would be difficulty in accessing the devices, the devices being available to them, the sheer number of students and the ratio proportion of the number of teachers available in proportion to the number of students those are available. So I'm assuming that all these would be hurdles in the quality education being transferred to the students of government schools. But again, I must say I'm not very familiar with the scenario.
Okay, ma'am. I have a doubt, ma'am. Know that the pandemic and lockdown situation has created a problems in a family and children, because the parents can't handle the children properly, because they have some frustration and they will show it in the family members. And how the family members tackle the situation, ma'am?
This again, it is very important that the families need to be oriented and they need to be aware of what is happening. While I might sound like I'm digressing, I would like to say here from what I have understood and what I have observed. In life, getting into responsibilities of a married life, getting into responsibilities of becoming parents, all this have followed a pattern of conditioning. We are just used to the idea or notion that beyond a certain age, the man and the woman needs to get married, and then within a few years they need to have children. Nobody is actually aware of the extent of responsibility family brings. But I'm glad to notice that nowadays it's not the case. Most people are well educated, they are having good experience and exposure, and hence they are giving much thought before getting into such responsibility. So, getting married or becoming parents should not be just a random conditioned response. It needs to come from a place of extreme awareness, because parents are born only the day the child is born, and they are also learning through the game. And every child is different. You can have certain standardized textbooks, but it can only kind of give you some kind of a framework or guideline. We need to address each situation differently. So how many families do you think are aware of what they're, how does these frustrations come? Each individual has their own baggage of their exposure, their conditioning, their experience. They're not aware that they're probably causing disturbances to the others around them. How are they going to be aware? They're just ordinary human beings doing some other work. So until and unless families are given those kind of awareness and orientation regarding how each one's behavior can impact the people around you, that is the far cry. But I see that because of pandemic, such discussions are being brought to the table, and hence I'm sure more parents are in the future are going to be aware of such things, and things will become better. But as of now, we are still in the transition stage.
And we have another question from Google Meet, ma'am. Harida, through online classes, only few were listening, but few were not. What can be done for that, ma'am?
I'm very aware of this, because I too have faced this situation. Sometimes I feel so desperate, I feel so helpless, because I am here eager to give my everything into the syllabus, into the curriculation and beyond. And due to whatever reason, we might not know everybody's stories, what is happening across the screen in each child's family or home. We do not know what kind of circumstances. Like I was telling, the other day, a child called me and told me that she lost her father a few days ago. Now, how can I expect her to be available in the class? And even though there is the possibility, because there is invisibility, we are very well aware that they might be logged in, but they might not be anywhere near the device. All we teachers can try to do is try to make these sessions so much more interesting. Not just, again, I have to say, not just about the textual content. It has to be something more. The child has to get the feeling that the teacher is genuinely concerned about the child. The teacher genuinely cares for the child. Each child needs to feel individually addressed. A teacher might be speaking to a multitude of children, but I feel each child needs to feel, no, the teacher is talking to me personally. And only if we are successful in doing that, I think these situations can be decreased. It cannot be stopped completely because the scenario is very complicated, and but we can definitely bring, decrease this situation.
Okay, ma'am. We have another question in Google Meet from Nirmala, Dr. D. Nirmala. Uh, Wearing a headphone during online classes create headache. What is your suggestion to overcome this problem?
Um, Again, the availability is a big issue. I use this Bluetooth speaker, so then I have the problem. I find it very disturbing to use earphones and headphones and all that. So, uh, availability, the affordability is all going to be a criterion. But if we are able to use such devices, I think most such devices are coming, which are more easier on the external ears. We need to do that. So when I'm at home, I'm able to use this. But when I'm at school and I'm conducting online classes from the school classroom, I have to use the earphones. And by the end of the day, I'm having headache, I'm having ear pain. So I guess it's just a professional hazard. We need to find out if there are better devices to do this better.
Thank you, ma'am. We have a question from Joshua in the YouTube. My child is 3 year old and is yet to be exposed to a traditional learning atmosphere. When he is introduced to virtual mode of learning straight away, how does it impact him in coming years?
That is a very sad question, actually, because I am hoping that by the time your child has to be, has to get educated, I'm hoping we are out of all this online scenario. The child deserves more physical, actual interaction, and uh, more direct interaction. And I'm really hoping by that time, your child has to access education, he or she is out of this. But having said that, we need to expect the unexpected. I think it has to be done very gradually. Make the child feel comfortable. And of course, when a child is so little, the parents need to be around. The parents need to make the child understand that it is not a task, it is not a challenge. It is something, a very wholesome and organic interaction. And for that, the presence of the parents, of the elders needs to be there. The teacher and the parents together have to make learning much more fun, encouraging. Most important is encouraging. A child needs to feel constantly encouraged. Yes, we need to correct them. We need to tell them of the rights and the wrongs and the good and the bad. But that needs to be approached in a very organic manner where the child feels the need to do it by themselves. And for this, we need the wholesome interaction between the child and the guardians or the parents or the teachers involved.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Ma'am, in the normal school days, we have competitions like poem writing, essay writing, story writing, or some cultural activities. But online classes, we don't have anything. We have Google exams and Google Meet meetings, classes, and how the students can cope up with this condition, ma'am. How will they can control their stress due to this?
Yeah. Actually, Sangeeta, I have to let you know that there are competitions being conducted. In fact, right now our outgoing students they are involved in conducting an online competition, which includes poetry writing, creating memes and all these things, fun, and they are communicating the information regarding it through WhatsApp statuses, through the social media, and they're encouraging many people to join. And not only that, what they do is they are going to give the registration, the proceeds that are going to be available. They're using it as for the well-being of the people who are affected by the pandemic. So I can probably just forward you that message, and it's really happening. Even last year, we had a psychological seminar conducted by one of our faculty and our students. So it is happening, and I think it might, in the coming days, if we have to continue with this kind of interaction, it's definitely going to be more prevalent. And I encourage everybody to really participate. So that's the only thing that is available right now, and we have to make the best of the resources that are available.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, this
Thank you.
project is called Gift Me a Smile. I'll just share it with you. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your patience, and you have answered a lot of questions, and thank you so much for that. And next, I would like to welcome Miss Abhirami to deliver vote of thanks.
Thank you
Over
so
to
much.
you, Abhi.
Thank you, Ms. Sankita. Good morning to one and all. I thank our Chief Host, Professor Nirmala Sasi Varier, Teacher of Kaveri Global Senior Secondary School, for enriching us with presenting on overall children experience and some questions clear like children mental health difficulties overcome and children and teachers bonding online platform and wonderful presentation. The COVID-19 impact on school children. Thank you, ma'am. My sincere gratitude goes to Professor and Head of the Department, Dr. R. Mangaleshwaran, for making us to learn our professional skills immensely through organizing this online workshop. I thank you, our senior faculty, Dr. P. Ilangu. I thank Assistant Professor Dr. P. Nirmala, Dr. N. Rajavel, and guest faculties Dr. Suresh Kumar, Dr. Karthikeyan, and Dr. Selvamani. Special word of thanks to Dr. Salomoni. Without our support, we would not have got their perfection of success, especially in the technical aspects of this workshop. Thank you very much, sir. I would like to thank you, workshop director, Dr. J.O. Jailan Manager, LJO Associate Professor. Thank you, ma'am. I thank each and every participants who are connected through this Google Meet and YouTube live stream. Thank you, one and all. And stay home, stay safe. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep it moving. Thank you, ma'am. And over to Ms. Sangeeta MR.
Thank you, Abhirami. Thank you so much for your words. Dear participants, we have our next section at 4 p.m. by Dr. B.P. Nirmala, Professor, Department of Psychiatric Social Work at NIMHANS, Bangalore, Karnataka, on the topic Impact and Management of Disabled Children. And so it's a great opportunity. So please join before 10 minutes before the program on Google Meet and YouTube live streaming. See you all there. And thank you so much for and stay safe and stay home. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.